This is BBC Newsline. I'm Tara Mills. Storm Amy, the first named storm of the season, has blown in.
Yes, Tara, strong winds and rain have arrived across Northern Ireland, with hundreds of schools having to close early, events cancelled and travel disruption, including cancelled trains all across Northern Ireland.
School closures meant parents were told this morning to collect their children at noon.
Of course, it's difficult, especially for working parents. The logistics of getting here earlier than expected. What's key here is looking after the children.
I actually got a text from a friend before he was messing me about. I went on Facebook and seen it on the Education Authority, and I was like, oh, so we are definitely getting home.
A witness tells the Soldier F trial how he told an injured man to play dead on Bloody Sunday. Also on the programme, the new urban sports park in Downpatrick, keeping this young BMX star on the right track.
The weather has already had an effect on tonight's sport, with a number of rugby and football fixtures postponed. I'll have the very latest.
And Storm Amy will continue to influence our weather over the next 24 hours or so. The strongest winds will move on in the next few hours. I'll have the very latest on the storm, as well as the full weekend forecast.
Hello and welcome to the programme. And one story dominating tonight: the impact of Storm Amy is being felt across Northern Ireland this evening. Schools in Antrim, Londonderry, Tyrone and Fermanagh closed early today. Flights have been cancelled and delayed, and other travel plans have been disrupted. The Met Office has issued weather warnings for more wind and rain, and the police have warned of the dangers of surface water on our roads. We have several reports tonight bringing you a sense of the impact of the storm. First, let's get the very latest from our reporter Kelly Bonner, who's on the Loch Shore in Newton Abbey. And Kelly, what is the very latest in terms of travel?
Well, Tara, as you can probably see for yourself, it's pretty windy. My cameraman here is holding onto the camera for dear life. But in terms of travel, there's been a fair amount of disruption here today. In the last hour or so, TransLink has announced that all trains are cancelled across Northern Ireland. Now, as you can imagine, that's going to cause quite widespread disruption across Northern Ireland here this evening. Stena ferry services from Belfast to Kenran have been cancelled today and throughout this evening. In fact, on their website it says potentially 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. The company are advising anybody who's meant to travel to only travel if essential, and to check their website to make sure that the ferries are actually going ahead. In terms of flights here this evening, Tara, we've seen a number of flights to and from Belfast City Airport cancelled due to Storm Amy. Airports are of course advising passengers just to check with your airline to make sure that your flight is in fact going ahead, or if it's cancelled. This evening as well at Belfast International Airport, I've heard from a number of passengers who said they had a bit of a ropey end to their flight trying to land 4 times this evening. 5 aircrafts have landed at Belfast International Airport, and all passengers are currently still on board. The International Airport told us they're hoping that they can try and disembark passengers safely soon.
Kelly, what about electricity supplies? Do we know if anywhere has been affected?
Well, we have in the last half an hour received a statement from Northern Ireland Electricity. Now, they say whilst it's still a developing picture across Northern Ireland, they've seen a number of power cuts and restoration efforts are currently underway, where of course it's safe to do so. They're urging the public, however, to stay away from any damaged power lines, any power cuts at all. They're saying if they have any worries, the public don't go near them, just to contact the NIE.
What about the Republic? What's the picture there?
Well, I know the Republic, Donegal in particular, is particularly bad. They've seen gusts of up to 6 o'clock this evening. A red weather warning in place now. Met Office issued a warning. They're saying anyone in Donegal should stay inside, don't move around, stay inside and keep yourself safe. There's 184,000 households across the south that are currently without power, and as it stands this evening, 58 flights have already been cancelled at Dublin Airport. So if you are travelling from Northern Ireland to Dublin, you should check your flight service.
Kelly, thanks very much. Well, in the northwest, motorists have been battling difficult conditions in the last few hours as Storm Amy has really started to take hold. Derry City and Strabane Council closed a number of its parks and play areas, and cemeteries were only open for burials. Schools were facing a challenging time too, getting children home safely after the decision to close early. Here's our northwest reporter, Kieran Turish.
By mid-afternoon, the impact of Storm Amy was becoming apparent. This road near Port Glenone was making life difficult for motorists. There was a similar challenge for commuters in Derry too, as heavy branches came down on the Northland Road and police were called for assistance. The force of the winds had been rising all afternoon. Home time came a lot earlier than expected at Ebrington Primary School in the Waterside today. The principal admitted it was a logistical challenge, but appreciated the early warning from the Education Authority.
My priority is the safety of the whole school community, our pupils, our staff and our parents. So if a call's been made for those 4 counties that are going to be worst affected, and we're all closing, 12 o'clock's given us enough time to make sure all pupils, staff, parents hopefully get home safely and are off the roads. I know the last storm, Storm Owen in January, brought down an awful lot of trees and there was a lot of damage to property. Hopefully it won't be the same this time round, but the priority is making sure everybody's home safe.
For parents who were collecting their children, it was the right decision to close early.
I do think it's great that the Education Authority had made the call early this morning. Not only am I a parent of Ebrington Primary School, but I'm also a teacher in the school, so it's great that we've been given time to make sure that everyone is off site safely by the end of the day.
Of course, it's difficult, especially for working parents. The logistics of getting here earlier than expected, as I say, it wasn't the plan this morning. That is difficult, but I'm sure as a parent or all our parents here, again, it's for the safety, and that has to come back. What's key here is looking after the children.
I'm the teacher and a parent of the school, so as a teacher we were given great notice, and as always safety is paramount for the children and we want to make sure that they all get home safe, so good timing. We were given lots of time to get them home.
It is important that safety comes first for the kids, that we get them home safe, and I think the school has notified us in a really good time, gave us enough time to get the kids home and safe, so that's really important.
The council closed parks and play areas and cemeteries except for burials and will make ongoing assessments throughout Storm Amy.
Safety first, like the last storm, there's a lot of trees came down, there was a lot of debris, and we can't have people being hurt, the public being hurt or any employees being hurt.
Police have warned of the dangers of those out and about during the storm and the potential risks to life and property. The council urged everyone to secure their property and such items as trampolines and garden furniture. It says it will carry out safety inspections in parks, play areas and council facilities to make sure they're safe before they're reopened. Kieran Turish, BBC Newsline, Derry.
Well, as Kieran said there, the instruction to close schools early came from the Education Authority this morning. It affected schools across counties Antrim, Derry, Fermanagh and Tyrone, as our education correspondent Robbie Meredith reports.
School pick-up happened earlier than usual today, including at a wet and windswept Mercy College in North Belfast. Pupils were in class when they found out they'd be leaving early.
It is a rather unfortunate one with A-levels coming up and needing to get all our time in and effort. It is rather unfortunate, however, teachers have made the effort and put the work online for us on Teams.
We haven't really had any problems with weather over the years we've been here, so being able to go home early and get the work done there would be a bit of a hassle.
I actually got a text from a friend during class, and obviously I thought he was messing me about, and then I went on Facebook and seen it on the Education Authority, and I was like, oh, so we are definitely getting home.
For the principal and staff, it meant a busy morning and shifting things about for pupils.
It has been a busy morning. I just want to acknowledge the hard work of all staff, not least Canteen, because I think it's important in a school like mine with many of the children receiving free school meals. But Canteen were very, receptive to let's put lunchtime on at 11 o'clock. Let's get every child who's entitled to a free school meal a warm meal before they leave the building.
Mercy were able to give their parents a few hours warning of the closure.
I'm going to get a lift by my mummy. She's coming to get me after she gets my wee sister from another school.
Okay, so your mum has to go and pick a few of you up then?
Yeah, she works from home, so she doesn't really get a lot of breaks, so she has to try text her boss to let her go to get us.
At some other schools though, parents got as little as half an hour's notice. And for some Mercy pupils, there was still a journey to work to think about later on.
I had to walk to work as well, so it gets soaked even more, but it's usual for me now to be going on to work on Friday, so I just get used to it.
Everyone's hoping lights won't be going out early again in schools anytime soon. Robbie Meredith, BBC Newsline.
Well, let's get the very latest on the progress of the storm. Cecilia's here. How's it looking?
Storm Amy will continue to influence our weather tower for the next 24 hours, so both wind and rain warnings are in force. Here's the storm itself. Initially we had the rain and then the winds really ramped up this afternoon, and in the last couple of hours we're probably seeing the peak gusts. So it looks as though we may have a record for October. The Met Office are saying provisionally McGilligan, 92 miles an hour, could well be a record for this time of year. But generally the winds will tend to ease, I suspect, over the next few hours. Now, we've had heavy rain in places today. There's more heavy rain to come tomorrow morning. That could lead to further flooding. So this is where the amber wind warning has been in force. Winds, as I said, gradually reducing in the next couple of hours, but still pretty windy until well into Saturday. And with more heavy rain in the forecast for tomorrow morning, there is a continued risk of flooding.
And there's a full roundup of the disruption caused by Storm Amy on our website, including full weather reports. You can also find it by downloading the BBC News app. Now, a witness has told the Soldier F trial how he tried to help a man shot on Bloody Sunday by telling him to play dead. Malachi Coyle was 15 in 1972. He was giving evidence at the trial of Soldier F, who denies 2 charges of murder and 5 charges of attempted murder. This report from Catherine Morrison contains some strong language.
Malachi Coyle was a schoolboy studying for his O-levels when he joined thousands of others on a civil rights march in Derry in 1972. He recalled in court today what happened next. He described how the CS gas used on marchers left him throwing up and unable to breathe. To escape it, he went into Glenfadda Park North. Then he told the court he heard high-velocity shots ring out. In the panic that ensued, he was pulled into someone's backyard. Through a fence, he saw 3 bodies on the ground.
The man closest to Mr. Coyle said, "I can't move my legs." Mr. Coyle told him, "Don't move, pretend you're dead." Another shot rang out. Mr. Coyle said the man groaned and put his head down. He was gone.
Mr. Coyle told the court he did not see who fired the shot. Soldier F, who can't be named for legal reasons, denies the murders of William McKinney and James Ray and 5 counts of attempted murder. They were among 13 people who were shot dead by the Parachute Regiment at a civil rights demonstration on the 30th of January 1972. Mr. Coyle told the court that one soldier was different in appearance and manner to the others. He was not wearing a helmet as he walked across Glenfadda Park North. He said he saw the soldier turn and look towards a group of mostly young men hiding behind flats. He looked angry and unstable. Mr. Coyle added, "I think," he said, "I'm going to shoot you, you Irish bastards." He said he then saw that soldier shoot towards a young man who was trying to run away, but didn't know if he was hit. A number of statements from witnesses were also read to the court, including from Joseph Gallagher, who described how a bullet flew through his hair as he bent over the body of James Ray. He said he had seen a soldier with fair hair firing steadily. The trial continues next week. Catherine Morrison, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
Now, in Downpatrick, a new £500,000 urban sports park has opened at Dunleith Park. The free-to-use facility features a BMX track and skate park, and it's hoped it will attract skateboarders, skaters, BMX riders and scooter users from far and wide. Among the first to use it was 12-year-old Amelia Martin, who's an Irish BMX racer and has been showing off her skills to our South East reporter Cormac Campbell.
Finally, a facility fit for a queen. 12-year-old Amelia Martin is an Irish BMX champion from Downpatrick. This month she's been celebrating the opening of the town's new urban sports park.
Before I go on, I learn the track, but then once I get used to it, I just look what's ahead. Having this here is like really helping me. It's basically like going about a track on a bike, and it's almost like a long sprint, like 30-second sprints. You have to see who can cross the line first, and I'm at like national, European and world level. I hope to get like a couple of world titles, and then if I can do that, then yeah, I hope for Olympics.
The £500,000 facility also features a skate park, and funders are confident it will attract visitors from well beyond the county downtown.
They will, and they have. I was talking to a number of individuals who are coming from Limerick and Dublin to actually use the facilities. It's the only one in Newry Morning Down, which we're quite proud of here in Downpatrick, and it is attracting a lot of people from outside of the district to come here into practice. It's the first in a number of regeneration projects for Downpatrick. It's the first one we've got across the line. It's been 3 years in the making. It was funded by the Department of Communities and some funding from Council, and it came from a master plan or a regeneration plan for Downpatrick called the Living High Streets Framework, which was a whole approach to determine how we shape Downpatrick for the future. And it wasn't just built around business, it was built around the community and what people wanted and needed for their community.
That plan also includes public realm schemes, parkland and the regeneration of the former police station on Irish Street. Cormac Campbell, BBC Newsline, Downpatrick.
Now, the world watched on this week as Mahra Felt-born designer Jonathan Anderson presented his debut women's collection for Dior at Paris Fashion Week. He's the first designer to oversee both men's and women's lines for the fashion house. And in an interview with Radio 4, he's been speaking about how his upbringing in Northern Ireland influenced his work. Bernie Allen has more.
He's arguably one of the most important fashion designers in the world. And the Mahra Felt-born creative director of Dior, Jonathan Anderson, says growing up in Northern Ireland in the 90s helped inspire his creativity.
Mahra Felt is a small town. You are always looking outwards. You're trying to find something. You know, you're living on an island ultimately.
Jonathan is the son of former Irish rugby captain Willie Anderson and says whilst high fashion wasn't something talked about in his house, he was inspired by his dad's drive, determination and leadership.
If you're a coach of a rugby team, you've got to get everyone to go in one direction. You know, you've got to win the match. And I think when you're working in fashion, you've got huge teams. I'm really just the coach. And I go out there and I have to kind of get everyone to go in the right direction.
With many more Dior collections to come, Jonathan says the job is a hard challenge, but his desire to continually improve, learn and do better is what makes his role so special. Bernie Allen, BBC Newsline.
Now time for sport, and weather has already affected several of tonight's fixtures. Nicola, tell us more.
Yes, indeed, Tara. Unfortunately so. Good evening, everyone. We've had several postponements due to the stormy conditions ahead tonight. In rugby, Ulster's game away to Edinburgh this evening has been cancelled. The 8 o'clock kick-off was moved forward yesterday by an hour in anticipation of the adverse weather. But with worsening conditions across Scotland overnight from Storm Amy, the URC confirmed postponement of the fixture and will now consider a new date with both clubs to reschedule the game. Now, Derry City earlier confirmed that tonight's Premier Division game at home to Sligo is also postponed, but the match will now take place on Sunday at 4 p.m, with all tickets for the original fixture valid for the new date. And tonight's two Irish Premiership games, Linfield Crusaders and Cliftonville Glentoran, are also both postponed. Now, in golf, Tom McKibben remains in contention in the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. The Hollywood golfer playing the Carnoustie course today in nasty conditions had moved to 10 under par overall when play was suspended. That sees him lying joint fourth on the leaderboard and just 2 shots off the lead. Now, racing driver Finn McLaughlin, he could clinch the British Formula 4 title at Brands Hatch this weekend. The 17-year-old from Maherafelt, who drives for high-tech TGR, that's part of the Red Bull junior team, holds a big lead with 3 races remaining this weekend, and he could secure the title in Saturday's opening race.
I haven't won a championship since I was 7 years old, and you work your whole life towards these things, and I'm just hoping, obviously, to finish it up and come away a rookie champion and a British F4 champion will just be amazing. When you have a big lead, I think the pressure disappears. I think if I was coming into this weekend 10 or 20 points ahead, I'd definitely feel a lot more pressure. So I can wrap it up after race 1 on Saturday. But I'm not really focusing. I'm focusing on doing a great job, enjoying this weekend as it's my last race in F4. To come away with a couple more wins for the end of the season would be great.
Mixed martial arts now, and Paul Hughes says he is confident ahead of the rematch against PFL lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov in Dubai tonight. Their first meeting in January went the way of the Russian by way of majority decision. Hughes from Lavi returned in May with a 42-second stoppage of Bruno Miranda at Belfast SSE Arena, and that victory opened the door for this second crack at the title.
I've never been so confident. I've had a 10 months training camp and a rematch, so I've done 5 rounds. I've got plenty of reads. I've had a rematch before in my career for a world title. The second fight, I beat the guy 50-43 in some scorecards, so never been more confident. We're competing at the highest level here. I would rate him as one of the top 5 fighters in the world, so there are no holes. It's up to me to implement my game plan better than his on Friday night. I believe I finish him.
Now, this man, Belfast kickboxer Jay Snodden, he seized an unlikely opportunity to become a world champion. With just 3 days' notice, he's a last-minute replacement to challenge England's Andy Turland, the reigning CFS K1 lightweight champion, at the O2 Academy in Bournemouth on Sunday. Despite the short notice, Jay believes he's ready to take advantage of the chance to grab the world belt.
I was set to fight for the WKM British title 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately my opponent had to withdraw from the match. So I was fit, I was ready for a fight, and this opportunity came up on just 3 days' notice to contend for another federation's professional world championship. I saw it, I seized the opportunity, and here we are today fighting for the championship of the world. So my opponent, he's had 60 fights. He's the #1 ranked fighter in the United Kingdom at 67 kilogram. I fight at 63. These do not matter to me, sir. I was born ready. I was born for this opportunity.
And finally, a reminder that tonight's football matches between Cliftonville and Glentoran, Linfield Crusaders and Derry Sligo are all postponed. As things stand, tomorrow's 4 fixtures in the Irish Premiership do go ahead, but you can keep up to date on the BBC Sport website. Tara.
Nicola, thank you. Weather watcher Desmond Lockery took this shot that pretty much sums up today's weather. Cecilia, what about the weekend?
Yeah, we're gradually improving over the weekend, Tara, but it's been the northwest corner where the strongest winds have been. It looks as though they are peaking. There's the storm itself. The rain-bearing cloud moved on, so drier conditions tonight, but heavy rains back tomorrow morning. The amber warning is in force for another hour, but winds will still be strong and gusty well into Saturday, and there's a heavy rain warning in force as well. So although winds are reducing slightly in the next couple of hours, we could still be looking at top wind gusts close to 70 miles an hour in exposed places rather than close to 90 miles an hour, which is what they have been just in the last hour or so. So very windy over the next few hours still, with potential for wind gusts over 80 miles an hour, and then reducing a little bit, but with lots of showers coming through. Now it's going to be a little bit colder tonight as well, temperatures in double digits, and it will certainly feel colder tomorrow. We've heavy rain in the forecast first thing on Saturday. It will be windy throughout the day, but as the heavy rain moves on, things will brighten up from the north and we'll see occasional squally showers, but also some sunshine in between. But that heavy rain first thing could well lead to some more disruption or perhaps cancellations of local sports. So temperatures are down, winds are still gusting close to 70 miles an hour. They continue to ease through Saturday night, and on Sunday it's not as windy. It'll also be drier in many places, bits and pieces of rain and drizzle around in the afternoon, but at least it will be a day you can get out and do things.
Cecilia, thanks very much. Before we go, an update on Storm Amy. Around 50,000 properties are without power this evening. NIE Network said there's been a significant level of damage to the electricity network. That's it for now. Our late news is at 10:30 from everyone on the team. Thanks for watching this week. Stay safe. Bye-bye.